What's up, everybody? Welcome to Claiming Christianity. Today we're going to be taking a look at this. This is the New King James Version. Are you ready? This is the classic verse-by-verse center column reference Bible. And this one it's a brand new cover, my understanding. It should ship in the next day or two. This is silver. Now listen, this is one of my favorite layouts for a Bible. For those of you that know me, I have a Bible very similar to this. And we're going to be comparing it towards the end of the video we'll be doing like a 1-year crash test at the same time as we're doing a review. Because again, this is one of my favorite. It has become one of my favorite text blocks. I think this is a fantastic Bible. So again, full review of the New King James Version, classic verse-by-verse center column reference Bible in gray. They call it gray. It is gray. I like the word silver a little bit better. I don't know if there's a difference between those two words. But for those of you guys who are new here, thank you for coming by. My name is Steve. While you're here, you're going to be encouraged and equipped to be the Christians you claim to be. We're going to do that by going through Scripture and reviewing solid tools and resources to help make your day-to-day better and more Christ-focused. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, hit that subscribe button and let's jump into it. So let's take a look at this Bible here. Again, towards the end, I'm going to compare it for you with this. This is what I call my Sunday Bible. Those of you who have been following me for quite a while know this is basically the same Bible as this, different cover. There's some slightly different cover features and stuff on there, but I have grown to love this text block, the layout for this Bible, and so it'll be kind of like a 1-year crash test because I've had it for just over a year, and I use it regularly. This particular Bible gets used the most, so we'll look at the difference between the two and what it's going to look like in a year. Before we do that, let's show you what you're going to get in the New King James Version, classic verse-by-verse center column reference Bible. I know that's a mouthful. So you get a basic slipcover. There are folks that I've talked to that use these slipcovers because they want to carry their Bible around, and they use the slipcover of the box to throw it in their bag, and I think that's a great idea. It's not something that I do, but I don't typically throw my bigger Bibles in a bag. You're going to get basic information, and we'll show you the ISBN there. If I can get it into focus for you. It's like super glary. Sorry about that. There we go. It retails for $59.99. And this Bible is put out by Thomas Nelson, okay? So here's what's new. This Bible, at the time of filming, this Bible should be going out tomorrow. So if you're watching this anytime after today, you can click on the link. Amazon will send one to you, as far as I know, as long as there's no hiccups in that, because these days there's shipping issues. They changed the cover and a few things, and we'll take a look at what some of those things are. And like I said, this is one of my favorite text blocks. I've been using it for a year, and I really, really like it. I think that it's probably one of my favorites for sure. So you're going to get this really nice, beautiful gray Leathersoft. Okay, this is not genuine leather. I will show you again what it looks like in a year, but it's held up really nicely. Okay, it doesn't have anything stamped on the front, as you'll see in this Bible as we kind of compare the two. This one has Holy Bible stamped in the front here. It doesn't bother me one way or another. That's really a personal preference. I prefer it just empty and blank, like this beautiful gray one here. But again, don't have a problem. That's just as really a personal preference for you to know what the difference you're going to get is. And it does have perimeter stitching. And on the column, you're going to get, again, just beautifully simple, right? I use that term a lot. Holy Bible, New King James Version with the Thomas Nelson logo. On the back, you do get the ISBN stamped in the back, and you guys know I have a little bit of an issue with that, but that's just me. And they do give you 2 ribbons. I'm super excited that they give you 2 ribbons because it's better than 1. My number is 4, but 2 is better than 1, and I really like the colors that they chose because I think this blue goes really nicely with the silver and the gray. You're going to get silver art gilting on the side here. All right, let's open it up and take a look at what's inside, and then we'll compare. So it's a paste down liner, and we're going to flip open to the presentation page. Fill this presentation page out because you never know who's going to have your Bible a year from now, right? or 100 years from now. Not a year from now. You should have it a year from now. But they want to know more about you. Maybe write a little bit about your family in the back, what you use the Bible for. And then we're going to get to the legal information. If you can, let me get it in focus there, and you guys can pause that if that's something you're interested in. And they have the note there from 2K Denmark, right? This is the New King James Version comfort print. And this comfort print by 2K Denmark is specifically for the New King James Version. This is going to sound super nerdy, but I'm okay with that. This is my favorite font. The 2K Denmark comfort print, New King James Version comfort print is my favorite font. I really like it. It just is really easy on my eyes. And I know that sounds funny to have a preference like that, but when you look at a lot of Bibles, and you're going to spend a lot of time reading it, having a font that is easy on your eyes is super nice. So the table of contents is pretty basic in a reference Bible. If you haven't heard me say that before, it's a little more important in a study Bible, because a study Bible has lots of stuff all throughout the Bible that you're going to want to be able to flip to easily. This one's simple. It's just the 66 books of the canon, and it does tell you that there's a concordance in the back. And then the preface to the New King James Version. I've said this before and I'll say it again. You should read this at least one time for every translation that you have. This is just basic information on how they translated the Bible the way they did, why they chose to do it that way, and some of the specifics to the New King James Version. And then we get into the text. So as you kind of see here as I'm flipping through, you do get a little bit of an intro. Okay, so it's, one or two paragraphs depending on the book of the Bible, and that's just enough to kind of get you started with what's happening in the Bible. It's not a copious intro like you might get in a study Bible that's going to be 2, 3, 4 pages worth of information, but this is perfect if you're just reading through, you want to read through a book, and it gives you two paragraphs worth of information to help you understand the book a little bit better. I really truly think that is nice to have. So let me flip open. I didn't mark one out. I usually mark it out for you guys. Maybe I did. Oh, look at that. I did. So I usually mark this section out, and here's why, because you're going to see the two different sections side to side. Here you have a poetic setting, and on this side you have the non-poetic setting. So it's always slightly different in a verse by verse, right? So here's what the poetic setting looks like, and you can see a little bit of ghosting coming through. We'll talk about that in just a minute. And here's the non-poetic setting side, and I like to show you them right next to each other just to give you an idea. So this is a double column, verse by verse format. That means every verse is going to be set apart, right? So 21, 22, 23, 24. That's one of the reasons why I love having this Bible. I call it my Sunday Bible, which is funny because it gets used every day of the week. I'm at church 3 days a week, Saturday, Sunday, and Thursday. So it gets used more than just Sunday. But alas, it's been nicknamed my Sunday Bible. And it's really nice to be able to follow along with a teacher or a pastor in verse by verse format. Now that's personal to me, and I know a lot of people that hate verse by verse format, and that's great because they're used to reading paragraph format. It's just something I wanted to point out that I didn't really know before I started getting into reviewing Bibles, that all these options were available. This is really nice 10-point font. That's another thing that I really like about this. I told you I've been reading this Bible solid every day for a year, and I can sit this in my lap and read the words. I can hold it out at arm's length and read the words. It's not too small for me to use on a regular basis or in church when you're thumbing through the Bible, kind of trying to look for one of the minor prophets. We're going through the minor prophets right now, and it's like one page. So having a small font is hard to begin with, and then it's only one page. It's hard to find. This font I found has made that much better for me personally. I have really enjoyed reading it through. All right, so it is red letter text. So I opened up here to Luke, and you can see. So I have two things to say about this. First of all, this red I can see. For those of you who don't know me, I am colorblind. I mention this usually during Bible reviews. So if I get a color wrong, you don't yell at me in the comments. I usually ask my family and my girls to help me out before I do Bible reviews to make sure I didn't get the colors wrong. But this is red letter text and I can see it. Some red letters I can't see because it's too subdued and it blends in. It actually makes it harder to read. There are those of you out there who have commented that you can't read red letter text at all because it really hurts your eyes. It kind of messes your brain up, and I get that. I don't have trouble with this one as a colorblind guy. You guys can probably see here in Luke, all these red letters, they stand out to me even in a relatively, for me, it's lit kind of funny. But they stand out and I can read them, and that's not always true. So I wanted to mention that to you. That being said, I do have a Bible review coming out in the next week or so that has blue letter text. So you might want to stay tuned and check that one out too, because I'm really excited about the blue letter text. I can see it even better. The verse, chapter, and section headings. So you get your chapter, verse, and section headings are all in red all throughout the whole Bible. And that also helps me because they stand out just enough to where I'm flipping through in church or at a Bible study. They stand out really easily and I can find them. And I appreciate that. Also the teeny little reference numbers. Okay. So those are all features you're going to want to know what you're going to get. And then at the back there is concordance and maps. And again, I'll put a link down to the original. It'll be similar as far as similar information. The original review that I did for when I bought this Bible about a year ago, and you can watch that one also to compare. But you have a concordance in the back, a pretty substantial concordance. I don't use these concordances all that often, but it's nice to have them back there. And the reason I don't use them all that often is because I have an exhaustive concordance sitting on my shelf, and I tend to use that. So you can see how many pages the concordance is, and it's substantial. If that's something that you like using and you like having, Thomas Nelson does a pretty good job of putting that together for you. You have the note regarding the typeface, 2K Denmark, comfort print for the New King James Version, and you have the maps in the back here. This is a fantastic Bible, and I'm not saying that, I'm going to prove it to you. I'm not saying that because I'm just reviewing it for you. I really like it. This is the Bible that gets used most. So let's take a look at, quickly, we'll do a comparison at some of the differences. I bought this a year ago. Let me prove that to you. I tell you guys to fill out your presentation page. I fill them out for myself, or have my wife do it, just to be who I'm claiming to be. If I tell you to do it and I don't do it, that's not very good. Okay. So same leather, what does Thomas Nelson call it? Leather soft. Okay, same leather soft. It's not genuine leather. It's not goat skin. It's leather soft. This is what it's going to look like after a year. And it's pretty soft, I will say. For imitation leather, it really is soft and it is worn in very nicely. I do not have a problem with this Bible laying flat by any stretch of the imagination. I pointed out the Holy Bible on the front. That's not there. And this version is double perimeter stitched. Let me show you what it's going to look like in a year. And this isn't bad. There's going to be some wear and tear. On a paste down liner, you're going to get just a little bit of cracking. I have not had any trouble with the liner separating yet. And this is, you can see, just a little over a year in, right? So it's holding up really well. I added a ribbon. Again, my number is 4. I didn't have the room. I didn't want to redo the whole thing. I didn't have the room to add 4, but I did add, you could do it. I just personally didn't. Sorry about that. So I do have 3 ribbons in there, and the process wasn't difficult if you like to add ribbons. It took me 3 years to get up the guts to do it, but once I did it once, it wasn't all that scary. And I'll show you. I don't write in this book a ton. You can tell it gets used because all the little dog-eared pages. That's going to happen. You know what? My Bible is designed to be used. I'm super happy about that. I don't care about the edge. The art gilting, you can see it's going to get little dents and scratches in it, but this goes everywhere. It sits in my car. It doesn't really get shoved into a bag all that often. But for a year of solid everyday use, that's what it looks like for me. I'll show you what writing in it does look like, because I do writing in it. I use, it's very minimal. So for this particular Bible, again, because it's my Sunday Bible, I write the date and the location of the sermons. My pastor preaches expositionally through books of the Bible. And in my opinion, that's how it should be done, with the occasional topical. But so as he's preaching through a verse, or as anybody that I happen to hear is preaching through a book or a section, I write the date and where it is. I have little initials for different people or different churches, and I write those in the margins. It just reminds me of the date that we went through this scripture. And then if I want to go back to like YouTube and watch it and remind myself of what I heard kind of thing, or I'm researching a passage, I have that information there. You can see there's a little bit of ghosting. I use a Pilot G2 pen. In this particular Bible, I use this pen. I love these pens. In my premium Bibles, I usually use the Pigma Microns, but I like this better. It writes better for me. I carry it around and write. I can write on everything where you can't, in my opinion. I can't in my life do that with a Pigma Micron. So this has been a little, not only a comparison, not only a full review, but a comparison of what you're going to get with the New King James Version Classic verse by verse center column reference Bible, and kind of a 1-year crash test all wrapped up into one. I hope that this is, if you've gotten value out of this, hit that thumbs up. I think that it's good to not only see your full review, but what it's going to look like a year from now. Know that this gray cover is amazing. I think that it's really, really pretty. When it showed up, I was surprised at how nicely that it looked. Had I had the option a year ago when I purchased this one, I would have purchased this one. But I'm super glad they came out with it for in reality, a relatively inexpensive Bible. Right now, it retails for $59.99. You can always find them for cheaper than that, or for less expensive on sale, especially after it's been out for a few months. So thank you guys for hanging in there. If you have any questions, anything that I didn't cover, please leave it down in the comments, and I'll do my best to cover it with the information that I have. Hey, thank you guys for hanging in there with me today. I hope I've earned the privilege of your time. Again, I really like this text block. I've gotten a lot of use out of it, and I think it's a really solid tool that you all could put into use every day. I know that I sure have. I want to say thank you to Thomas Nelson for sending me this Bible so I can show it to you and let you guys know what's out there and what you're going to get when it shows up in the mail. There's lots of good, solid content coming out. We have a review of a New King James Version Shepherd by Humble Lamb. This Bible is beautiful. You're going to want to see that for sure. And coming up in the near future is, I don't think I've ever reviewed a New American Standard Bible before, and I have one, and we should be getting more of them to show you guys, so I'm excited about that because that's also a solid translation. So make sure you check back in, and don't forget, be who you claim to be.